Day 2 Dryden. Do you even remember what a burn deck looks like? How long has it been?
Oh, it's since I actually yeah, I sleeved up and played some sealed the other day against my brother, but no, since I actually sleeved up and played, slung some lightning bolts and some skewer the critics and whatnot. Oh man, wow, it's got to have been over a year now.
Well, I got some good news for you, Day 2 Dryden. I've
What's
got some good news. This deck hasn't changed at all. It's basically the same damn
I
thing.
noticed.
You know, look, this is not even necessarily a strict upgrade. Not everyone plays the Lurrus.
And you can only play one anyway.
You can only play one anyway. But look, we have all your familiar friends. This was played to a 5-0 by QB Turtle, who is, I don't know who this person is, but I can tell you this person grinds online nonstop, 24/7. I'm not even sure this person's a human being. I think they're a robot, some sort of bot that's been trained with AI how to play Magic. Plays every deck possible. So there's a 5-0 with Burn. We got Lava Spike, Lightning Bolt, Burrow's Charm, Lightning Helix. I mean, these are all your usual friends.
I'm trying to see what we're missing here, or what I'm trying to see what omissions might be in here.
Well, how many Horizon lands? Do you remember how many Horizon lands they used to play? They're running 5 in here.
Definitely the 4. I think
yeah.
I was running. You definitely ran all the red white ones. I was Did we? I think I might have had a couple fiery islets in there, at least one or two, at least.
You know, those Burn players, they don't like flooding out. They don't like flooding out. Things changed with Fiery Islet. And also, I guess, the companion.
Yeah, I never played with Lurrus. Lurrus wasn't part of the thing there when I was... I mean, it was around, but... or wait, maybe not. When did... Actually,
you know, you were complaining you didn't want to buy the Mishra's Baubles at the time. I remember that. Because I think the earlier versions of this Lurrus Burn deck played with Mishra's Bauble.
That's true.
Or I don't know. Maybe was it everyone out there? Was it Lurrus? Did Burn play Bauble for a short period of time? I want to say yes. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe it was like a different version of Lurrus.
I believe it did.
I want to say, but look, they scrapped the Mishra's Bauble, or maybe because it spiked to like $50 online. Bauble's played in everything now, by the way.
I know. I have been keeping track of some of the metagame shifts. I haven't been watching as much live play or anything, but I've been looking at sort of what's changing. Okay, and in the sideboard we got Wear Tear, right? That was always kind of a niche thing. People didn't really, people were going more with like Destructive Revelry and stuff if they wanted any of those effects. The Firewalker's Path, Skullcrack.
Oh well, you may not know. There's an Enchantress deck now in Modern.
I saw the Modern Horizons 2 previews and how they were clearly pushing that, but no,
pushing. They gifted it. I mean, every single card is basically a Modern Horizons 2 card.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's an archetype.
Yeah. So. But no, for those people who might not know, one of the reasons why I sort of moved away from Magic, it wasn't even just because of the pandemic and stuff. Oh yeah, Seal of Fire. That was Seal of Fire was fun. That's right.
They're just not good enough. I mean, in the end, they just scrapped it all and they went back to a normal burn list, which just randomly have a Lurrus.
They can't have red cards that are fun and good enough. They refuse to have burn cards that are, again, I understand you're saying this got a 5-0. They're the same cards here. So I understand I'm very much sort of making the deck out to be a bit of a martyr while it's at the same time running the show maybe. But the problem I always had was that all the really good red cards they would print, the problem is they could get splashed into all these other decks. So you'd have really crazy, like they could only print so much before, say, Dredge or Jund or whatever would be able to use these really efficient burn spells as well. And they're not even like going into burn necessarily. And the deck plays with a lower CMC costs. So it's even harder.
We call that mana value now, by the way.
What?
Oh, you don't know about this?
I haven't heard the term mana value before.
They scrapped converted mana cost. Now things are referred to by the mana value. It's got a mana value of 2. It's a mana value of 3. CMC is easy to say, but like when people ask what it is, it's converted mana cost. It's very, I guess, cumbersome to explain. Although there's a lot of people, they just treat it like the new one doesn't exist. But technically, we've moved on to mana value now.
Well, and how many of these have you and I seen? I feel like we're the old guys yelling about back when, oh, damage on the stack. Like, you know, CMC.
Damage on a stack, mana burn. We used to call our stuff CMC.
Yeah, CMC. I remember the days. Oh, but we were happy. Or all those other things, right?
There was nothing wrong with that.
No, but it's like, what's a Grand Prix? You mean a Magic Fest? No, I mean a Grand Prix. You know, what's an EDH? You mean Commander? Like, okay, like...
maybe they're trying to save room on the card, you know? Like, you see what they're doing right now, actually. You can see that, you know, they're pushing the limits of all these cards. They're filling the text box with as much as they can. Maybe one day they're going to expand the text box and shrink the image to, like, put more abilities. But, you know, when you shrink converted mana cost down to mana value, you save a lot of room.
I wonder if the artists would have anything to say about that. I mean, they're probably getting paid regardless, but I mean... You'd think that a smaller canvas to show their work would be less appreciated.
Well, I didn't hear any complaints when they made the invocations. Remember that?
Oh,
this tinier canvas for like a promotional card, and all those things exploded in price. So, you know, whatever. Well, I don't know who bought them. Not me.
The art. It was the text. It was the half hieroglyphic-y, half, like, you couldn't read them. Mm-hmm. Like, even if you have English as a first language, you're like, what does this say?
Yeah, it's complete nonsense.
Whatever.
We have any Invocation fans in the house?
Again, yeah, nothing against those cards. Like, I thought they were kind of neat, but yeah, reading them was like, okay, if I don't already know what Force of Will does or something like that, it can be a pain. And it wasn't centered. Whatever. There was just some small formatting things. Yeah. So yeah, all right.
Or Firewalker's still around. It's better than ever.
This was... For people who actually even remember who I am, they might remember that I hate this card, and not. And I don't just mean because it's obviously an anti-burn card, but it's. I was always very. I sleeved this up with a heavy heart every time. I'm like, I don't want to play. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, it felt very sort of gotcha-y. It to me it meant there was sort of an unhealthy meta going around, but at the same time. The last big tournament I ever did well in before the world sort of shut down was with, I think I had 4 of these on the sideboard. There was that. Was it a 5K? What did we play at that Holiday Inn like 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a 5K. It was a 5K. Yeah, it was a 5K. Oh man, yeah. The good old days where we got to go out and play some 5Ks once in a while.
Absolutely. But yeah, the red prowess was everywhere in that.
Still is.
It still is, right? So I sleeved up 4 of these things, and as much as I wasn't necessarily proud of myself, it won me some games. So there you go.
Why is it better than Sanctifier or Auriok Champion? Well, in some situations, it's not. Auriok Champion. So I would say Auriok Champion is better against Shadow or decks where you have to really block creatures on the ground. But Core Firewalker is just good to protect your life total. Even against Prowess. Like, it does pretty good against Prowess decks, but it's not going to do as good against Shadow, and I don't think there's as much Shadow out there. You might not know about this. There's a new hate card out for you. Yeah, Sanctifier on Vec. Sanctifier on Vec.
I think I've heard of it, but yeah, I don't... New card it's Horizon 2. No, I have not seen this.
More pro-red creatures, but it doesn't hurt as much, like, because it's more of a graveyard hate card. So when there's the battlefield, exile cards that are black or red from all graveyards, you don't care. Black or red permanent spell would be or card not on the battlefield would be put in the graveyard, exile it instead.
Yeah, this isn't as much. I mean, it's still an annoying body because it just comes down on turn 2 and blocks your Goblin Guides and things for forever. Well, actually, not even forever. It blocks it once and the Goblin Guide dies.
Unless you Skullcrack.
Yeah, that's true. I do. Oh man, I haven't gotcha somebody with that in a long. The problem with those gotcha moments when I was always some new player. It was always some kid at like an FNM who's like giving you a weird look, and then he puts the Core Firewalker in front of the Goblin Guide, and you Skullcrack, and you're like, oh, like it was always you never. The players you wanted to get with that, you never did, right?
Okay, then that means you should be bluffing more against the good players.
I did, and I did
throw that Goblin Guide right in there.
Right. Well, and I did every time, right? And they were usually smart, but yeah, it was because it's those are those are some good moments. Oh, I'm getting too nostalgic here now, John. You're gonna make me weep for the lives we used to know.
Yeah, we
But
so
yeah,
we still
no.
have some Path to Exiles, and I don't know what Roiling Vortex is used for now.
Yeah, this is the one I wanted to see because this is it's what is it? It's like a red skull crack, right? But the problem is that I shouldn't say
No,
the
it's
problem
like
because I've never actually played with this card.
it's
But
no, it's more than that. It's okay. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals one
Mhm.
damage to each player, and whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that
Oh
spell, it
yeah,
deals 5 damage to that player. So
yeah.
take that Living End, take that Crashing Footfalls, take that. I can't remember the stupid red spell, the new red spell in the format.
Oh,
And also you have the option your opponents can't gain life this turn.
I mean, I don't think this is in modern right now, and it certainly wasn't when I sort of took my hiatus or whatever. But I mean, I guess any retrace spells too, it would hit those. I'm trying to think.
Summoner's
Yeah,
Pact.
Hmm?
Summoner's Pact.
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely, all the zero CMC.
You want to look for that Titan? No, we call that mana value.
Actually, that would it costs 2 to put this out on the battlefield, so it's not necessarily free or whatever. But yeah, there were times when a 2 mana 5 damage spell might have been enough to get me over the line against some close Titan races. It's true.
Well, I don't know what you really need for this right now. It might be for all the Cascade decks. We have a lot of Cascade decks in the format, but this was very popular when Uro was around because it was gaining life like crazy.
Right. So, Hero, the one thing I want to see is about the mana base here. Sorry, how many fetches is this thing running?
We got 20 lands. We have 1, 2, 5 fetch lands. Feels low, but I don't know.
Well,
I'm not QB Turtle here.
Well, that's the thing, right? Once those Sunbaked Canyons and Fiery Islets and whatever else came out. Oh no, it was only the 2 because it's only the enemy colors, right?
Yeah, it was only the enemy colors.
Yeah, so it's only those 2. That's right. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because a green-red one would have been great for destructive revelries and things.
Yes.
So yeah, once those came out, then you had to start taking out fetch lands to make room for. Then like it totally changed the mana base of the deck, and generally for the better, right? Because you weren't flooding out as much. But
I don't feel like burn floods out hardly at all anymore. Like I really have to stabilize.
Yeah.
And because I mean, remember also you used to play somewhere between like what 18, 19 lands. I think 19 lands was the usual spot for burn.
I was trying to be a bit greedy and went down to 19. Well, sorry, no, not once the Sunbaked Canyons were out. Once the Sunbaked
when Sunbaked Canyon came out, they like bumped up their lands to 20. So what I want to say is like they'd get less mana screwed. I bet like I felt like a good chunk of my wins versus burn is because they only had like access to 1 mana. Like there would be some games they keep a 1 land hand and they just can only play 1 mana spells, and at some point that's just not good enough because you're playing 2 cards a turn, they're only playing 1.
Yeah, I mean there were definitely times. There was one time I remember Rodney was laughing at me and it kind of made me mad because we were at a Grand Prix, I forget which one, but whatever. And I had. I think I don't know who it was against, maybe Tron or something like that, and I kept ripping these 2 mana spells off the top of my deck, and I don't think I only had 2 mana, and so I couldn't get more than 1 spell out of my hand a turn, or maybe it was the problem I only had red lands, and I kept ripping Boros Charms off the top, so I had this hand full of gas, but I couldn't cast anything, and so Rodney's over my shoulder watching this game, and one of the last couple times I ripped like the 4th Boros Charm or something like that. And he just starts killing himself laughing behind me. And I'm like, I'm kind of in the zone. I'm like, dude, can you just like go anywhere else right now, right? Because I'm trying
He loves to spectate.
Of course, right? And I love it. And I'm trying to hold it in. And I'm trying to like poker face it so that like maybe this guy, I'm trying to, and like he's giving away everything. He might as well be holding up a mirror to my hand right now, right? So yeah, there are definitely times when it got clunky, as weird as it sounds to say with a, I was going to say a CMC, an MV. Is it MV or just a mana value?
No, I never heard anyone call it MV. That's weird.
It's only a matter of time. You heard it here first.
How many syllables is this converted mana cost? It's actually not too. It's like 6. Mana value is only 4, but somehow mana value just rolls off the tongue a lot easier.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
anyway,
I'm not gonna. That's always Wizards' problem. Okay, look again. I know like this isn't necessarily it's easy to be criticizing from my lofty, cozy digs here as opposed to the Wizards HQ. But that's always been my problem with them. Is it's not even so much necessarily what they do. It's their it's like their messaging. It's their how do I put it? Like it's not the message, it's the messaging, if that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like they have bad execution, even if they have good intentions. But I mean, whatever. I'm not running a multi-thousand corporation.
Anyway, we got to get on with the show because we got sponsors. But anyway, welcome to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic. We've got Day 2 Dryden here, resurrected.
Oh yeah,
from the flames. Yeah, that's right, exactly, like a phoenix here to talk to us about, well, all sorts of things. This is a Q&A show. You ask us anything, we're going to answer it. And also, we do Decklist reviews. So if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, submit it to us, and we'd love to give you some feedback. So brew up your coffees, coffee crew. Let's brew up some magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG. The hell's the day today? For July 9th, 2021, I am your host, Nikachu Merfolk Master, here with Andrew Day 2 Dryden. You know what? We're a sponsored show, Day 2 Dryden. Do you know which one? Yeah, that's right. Our first sponsor. FusionGamingOnline.com. Have you heard of them?
I have spent many a Friday night at Fusion Gaming. In fact, that 5K that we were talking about a few moments ago, that one at that Holiday Inn,
hosted by Fusion Gaming,
right? Hosted by Fusion Gaming. It was a well-run event. Yeah, it was great. So no, they do good stuff there. I have nothing but good things to say about Fusion Gaming. I know people who have worked there. Actually,
you used to work there.
I did. I worked there for about a week, I think. I worked there for about a week. And why did I do that? Sorry, I shouldn't say why did I do. I meant there was I in between.
You know what? At the time, it sounded like you really wanted to work there. Just I don't know why. But then when you did it, it just ended up being way more boring than you thought it was going to be. You thought it was going to be way more exciting. That's as I remember the story, but maybe you have a different story. I
just can't remember. If I remembered when it was, then I'd be like, oh, I was between these two jobs, or there was something here. I was going to go on a trip or something. So I can't remember. It would depend on when it was. But I did work there, and it was fine. And but yeah, for people who don't know, it is you think playing Magic is a grind. You should try running any kind of Magic operation. That is a grind. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of transferable skills there. After going through a pile of snow basics or something, and tell this is a near mint. Oh no, this is MP. And it's
there a know grind. Those stats. So. There know your Chronicles from your 4th and 5th edition. Anyway, save 25% off all booster packs. This is only available to the Canadians here because they cannot send it internationally, but a great value, 25% off. Even Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. So if you love Yu-Gi-Oh, go for it. But they've got they're even including Modern Horizons 2. Modern Horizons 2 just came out, and you can already get 25% off just the booster packs. And of course, if 25% is not enough for you, you can use coupon code Nikachu, get an extra 5% off all your purchases. Dietrich, are you using coupon code Nikachu?
I mean, who would be silly enough to not? I guess anyone who's silly enough to not tune in and know about this fantastic promotion, John.
And our other sponsor, Mana Trader. It's a premier place to rent Magic cards online. Card availability getting a lot better really fast. Plenty of Urza Sagas and Ragavans going around now, so there'll be less card availability issues. I know they're super popular cards. We're short on stock. Now they're a lot easier to get, and you're going to be prepared for the Mana Trader series this month. It is Modern. If you want to sign up to the premier place to rent Magic cards online, don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu again for 15% off your first 2 months. All right, we got a lot of whoops. Where do you go? We got a lot of super chats. Sometimes people pay. So 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Help me find your questions amongst all the comments I'm getting from all the YouTube channels, Facebook fan page, or you can cheat the system like Chris Ross did with the super chats. Donate with the super chat, and your question gets pushed to the top of the feed. So Chris, huh?
€5 too.
Oh yeah, €5. That's big money compared to those Canadian dollars we're used to. Anyway, haven't been on the stream for a bit. Why no Lava Dart? I can't bring myself to drop it. I'm more of a prowess player though. PS is Vexing Devil good for Shadow. What are your opinions on Lava Dart in the burn deck?
In the burn deck, I mean, we talked about flooding out and things like that, but remind me to recast it, you have to sacrifice a mountain, correct?
If you want the free pass. Well, I mean, it just deals a single damage. It's essentially, I guess it's one mana for 2 damage.
Right. And this was never a burn card for me. Again, I understand that there might be some meta shifts here that I might be ignorant of, but this was always a prowess card, not a burn card, because again, right, you're not only are you tapping the mountain, but then you're sacrificing the mountain to deal 2 damage. And I understand you don't have to do it at the same time. But,
you might not even have a mountain anymore. You have Someday Canyons, Inspiring Vantage, Fiery Islet.
What is okay? Well, actually, hold on. Let me also just quickly say, QB Turtle, man, just mountains. Come on, go get some snow basics. They've reprinted snow basics like 5 times now. Go get
there's snow hate out there now. Not that Burn will care. Yeah, there's one card that will. It's a sinkhole for snow lands and basically lands that add generic mana.
Is anyone playing it though?
Technically, no, but it's out there. It exists. It's a pretty good card, but no one plays it because, well, like actually Tron's sort of sunk. But anyway, I think the long story short on this is Lava Dart is Burn wants to deal as much damage per card as possible.
Yeah.
And this was played in Prowess because it could, in theory, with a Prowess creature, be 1 mana for 4 damage because you get the 1 damage from Lava Dart, the extra damage from the Prowess, sack the mountain, get another damage from Lava Dart, the extra damage from Prowess. So that was 1 mana for 4 damage. But there's only Swiftspear in this deck, nothing else. So that is not a burn card. They don't play that one.
One other thing, exactly what I was about to say, John. But yeah, one other thing is there were also some other very niche instances where if you had a from Amonkhet, Soulscar Mage. If you had Soulscar Mage, you could also hypothetically, which also was a prowess creature, right? You could also start to give -1/-1 counters or whatever. But it was more the fact that it had prowess creatures.
Yeah.
And so you end up turning this 1 damage into more like 4.
It's also not clear you want to be playing a lot of Lava Darts in the same deck as Eidolon of the Great Revel. Like Prowess doesn't play this card because they might end up killing themselves.
Well, again, right, it's an example of how do I put it? Like a lightning bolt is going to deal 3 damage to them and 2 damage to you.
Yes.
If all of a sudden, even if there were a card that dealt 1.5 damage every time you cast it, right? So you okay, now they're taking 3 damage and you're taking 4. Right, like it doesn't. Yeah. It's number of spells cast and stuff too, right? So yeah, it also has like less synchronicity, whatever. It has less compatibility with Eidolon.
Correct. Less synergy.
Yes, thank you, synergy.
Steven Peterson, I did a draft and didn't know about invocations. I opened the pack and got one and leaned over to the guy next to me and asked if it was a Yu-Gi-Oh card or something. Those invocations. What's a really butchered invocation? Let's look up what like Wrath of God I think is an invocation. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of them. Like my biggest deal with the invocations is that they made the art smaller. And at the time where people want full art stuff, they want borderless stuff. Wizards like, why don't we make it smaller? Why don't we make the art smaller and even harder to see? So all the art was like shrunk for no reason, and then they fixed it. Like the sets after this, they started making borderless cards and wider cards and stuff like that. Well,
again, right, there's the issue here too is you've got these and it's not obvious to me at first about these sort of columns on the left and right side. Like it's cool once you sort of start to actually know they're there, but it's not obvious what they are. The Wrath of God is like
it's interesting, and you have a background in the What is your background specifically on Roman and Greek?
They call it different things at different universities in the United Kingdom.
What do you call it?
I usually refer to it as classics.
The classics.
But it's generally Greek and Roman history. My arts degree in university is about deals with Greek and Roman history, and then of course Egypt is in there for quite a bit because the Romans were in charge of that for quite a while. So
you hear that, Wizards? The guy who has a degree in the classics doesn't clearly can tell that these are columns from that time period.
Yeah, what are you doing? Actually, one of the things I was really sad I never got to do or never got around to doing when I was doing my second degree is when the second Theros set came out. What I really wanted to do was a set of videos going like taking the cards and talking about the mythology behind it in case people weren't aware of some of the things, and sort of do a little informational video about not only the Magic but the Greek and Roman mythology, and I thought that was kind of neat, but I never had the time or the energy to do it.
Where they borrowed the ideas.
Yeah, because it was all inspired, right? There's one about like Achilles and Patroclus. There's all the gods are based off. Well, almost all the gods are based off of pantheon gods from Greek and Roman mythology. Yeah, so it's
I love this art for days. I absolutely love it.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, there were some really good arts in this that, again, you're right, they just kind of made them small. And again, okay, maybe one like this with a lot of text might be tough, but I don't understand why that, where it says instant here, couldn't be lower. The text box could have been a bit more, 9 by 16, and then you could have still got more art. Again, it wouldn't have been, right? It would have been.
Maybe, that's an interesting idea. Make the art long.
Yeah, as long as the artists know that, right? I'm not an artist, but I assume they could work around those frameworks. Like we know.
Oh yeah. The Wizards tells them whatever to do, and they'll just do it.
Yeah, like they're pros. Come on.
Or like Wizards will crop whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the invocations. MTG Ectoplasm. As a burn player, which tribal decks are a tough matchup and why? Which tribal decks are a tough matchup? Well, it sounds like all of them. I don't know if you ever were happy to see any tribal deck.
Elves. I really liked playing against Elves.
Elves was a good one, huh? Okay.
Yeah, especially because when Elves was big, it was always during like a 4 Searing Blaze meta. I remember there was one time it was just, again, it's weird. One time, like, whatever, this happened once, but some of these are burned into your memory. I remember we played a tournament at, I think it was a PTQ, which again, what's that acronym mean? I'll look it up in the history books, kids. It was at Play and Trade, and there was this one kid where just like turn after turn, it was like, okay, turn 1 Goblin Guide, and then it was like Searing Blaze, Searing Blaze, Searing Blood, Searing Blaze. Like it was just every time he played a creature, like no, you're done. So yeah, Elves was always a good one.
Okay, well, let's talk about the bad ones.
Yeah, Humans was always a pain. They had Thalia. Yeah, exactly. They had really good disruption between Thalia, Freebooter. They were playing the Auriok Champion, and it wasn't even like a niche sideboard card, right? Like, black and red. These, you're like, absolutely, we're gonna throw these in the sideboard. You never didn't get them. Merfolk traditionally was not great for me. Generally, the spreading seas would always come down at the wrong time. Especially, I think I might have a bit of an altered perspective on this, strictly because there was this really weird sort of lanky looking guy who always used to play Merfolk. I think he ran a YouTube channel or something that I would always play against. He was really good. I never could figure out how, but this guy just did really well at like every event, and I always ran into him. And then, so he was really
unlucky.
Really good. Yeah. So, there was that, but and again, right, Merfolk generally had really good, right? They're going to play blue, so they're going to be playing counter spells. Not always, like I think it was probably about 50-50, but because I was normally going up against a really competent Magic player and a really competent Merfolk player, Merfolk tended to be a bit of a tough matchup for me. I'm trying to think what other tribal decks there are. Slivers was usually okay. That was usually a race. If they got the Diffusion Sliver out, that was tough.
But, what about Spirits?
Spirits was, I would say that was slightly burn favored, but it was tough because, again, they're playing blue and white, so they've got access to a lot of those colors you don't like to see, and they're playing at flash speed a lot. I think in general, Spirits was a good matchup, but I mean, you could also just get like rolled over by their normal rollouts too, right? So
I mean, they had a Mausoleum Wanderer. They have like a Super Curse Catcher there.
Yeah. And like Rattle Chains or something. I mean,
I will say, like, Spell Queller, I played a little bit with Spell Queller. It feels very awkward versus Burn because, like, you want to Spell Queller something. And I'm speaking from experience in Pioneer. But the problem is, if you're not Spell Quellering like the very last Burn spell, then it's almost guaranteed Spell Queller dies. And then they get the Burn spell back, and then they kill whatever they originally was going to target. So it's very tough playing Spirits. Like it can't be tough to play Spirits versus Burn, but I would say, well, there's a lot of there's a lot more tools in like Frog Skull Captain, for example, in Modern.
I think it's one of those decks that rewards good players because it has more. You have more tools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those where you can sort of leverage your skills at the game.
You got to play at flash speed. That's always tough.
Yeah.
Do I play at sorcery speed? Do I play at instant speed? When do I play my stuff?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Off the top of my head, what are some other tribal decks off the top of my head? I can't think of too many others that I remember running into regularly.
Goblins. Goblins became a deck over the last 2 years, but you might not have played against the new Goblins deck.
I think Goblins was generally okay. If you came prepared, if you had Searing Bloods, Searing Blazes, kept their board empty, it was fine. The only thing is that they had things like Goblin Grenade at the end to seal it up.
Well, that's the super old version. There's like a new combo version. They don't even play any of that stuff.
Oh well, then
that's what I'm saying. You may or may not know. No, I think you covered all the ones more or less. You covered the good stuff. All right, let's see now. I'll just pick a random one out of the hat. Lolly. What would it take for Modern Burn to be viable in mono red like in Legacy? But why would you want it to be mono red is the question. Like you lose. Yeah, there's almost like we don't have Wasteland in Modern, so there's like no reason to be forfeiting things like Lightning Helix and Boros Charm. Like these are incredibly useful cards in Modern, especially the Boros Charm.
Well, the thing about, I've said this for years, right? And I've always wanted a mono red version to be more viable. The big thing about Legacy is that it's faster. Kale Surprise. No, but the big thing about Legacy Burn is it's faster because for one, it has to be, obviously. And the other is about 3 cards that make a huge difference. You've got your Price of Progress, where you can close out games that do go long, right? Which is, I love this card.
So we just need Price of Progress in Modern, probably.
Price of Progress, and the other big one would be Fire Blast. Price of Progress.
You can play this in Boros too, though.
Yes, you could. The big difference there is that you might not need to play Boros if you had access to this card, is what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Right?
I mean, it might be more clunky. Inspiring Vantage every so often might screw this card. I don't know.
Well, exactly, yeah. And that's part of the downside to it too. But I think in general, and then you also got things like Sulfuric Vortex, right? So those are the 3 big cards that come to my mind: Fire Blast, Price of Progress, and Sulfuric Vortex. I think, again, it's hard for me to talk about the current metagame and what it might need in terms of how. I believe I've heard you say, John, that Modern has slowed down a little bit compared to where it was maybe a year ago.
Well, that was when Uro was around. Like when Uro was around. Well, I mean, it slowed it up. It slowed it down and sped it up. But
well, yeah,
because like Uro slowed things way the hell down. But then as a result, some decks had to speed way the hell up to win before Uro stabilized.
Right.
Now it's okay. There are some fast decks, there are some slow decks. It's in a good speed right now. It's not too degenerately like goldfishing each other.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a little bit of a cop-out answer to this question. I mean, those 3 cards are some of the only differences in the deck, right? Like,
maybe that might be
you could just build a Legacy deck, it'd be great. Like, so it kind of feels a little bit like a cop-out answer than to just throw a 60 in front of someone. Like, well, we'll just play this. But the reason for Fire Blast was, again, right, it's you got to be able to cast multiple spells a turn, right? So if you can have a turn where you can go like Lightning Bolt, Fire Blast, there's 10 damage, right? Like, you know, there's 2 mana, 10 damage. Or if you have a game that goes a little bit long, if there are decks that stabilize some way, somehow, they tend to usually be maybe a control deck or a Tron deck or something like that. Then you can Price of Progress them. And right, that's the other thing about mono red, right? Price of Progress hits you as well.
Yes.
So if you are playing more than just basics, Price of Progress might just end up in a draw. Like, okay, you take 8, I take 10, we both die. All right, let's go into game 4 or whatever. I don't know.
We both lose.
Yeah, we both. Everyone's a loser.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's hard for me to say what it would exactly take. One of these 3 cards, I think, is the answer, and that's sort of why I think it's the answer.
I think Price of Progress just by itself would be enough to go mono
I think so too.
Because
I
this
think
is so much damage, and you would deal so much damage to yourself.
Right. Oh, and because again, that's one of the things about. Remember, I mentioned earlier about how sometimes the really good red cards they print, it's frustrating because if they just push that card a little bit more, well, like Dredge would splash for it or Jund would splash for it. Price of Progress is a good example, I think, of a card where Jund or Dredge or I don't know, like a Jeskai control deck or something, right? They wouldn't splash, right? They wouldn't splash for Price of Progress because it would hurt them more than the burn deck most of their opponents. So I think Price of Progress, if I had to pick one of those 3, it would be that one, or maybe Sulfuric Vortex, because again, it does exactly the things burn wants to do, right? You take damage, I take damage too, but whatever, but no one can gain life. So even though I think Fire Blast is probably the strongest card out of that, it would provide a lot of tools to non-burn decks simultaneously.
Right. Just a heads up, Peter. Fusion Gaming is actually, they ship internationally. It's just a sealed product. They legally cannot ship internationally. That's all. But if you want singles, you can still get them from Fusion Gaming online.
Yep. And they have sales there too. And does your Nikachu code also help with when you're buying singles online? I think it does.
Everything online. If you can buy a bag of potato chips online, you'll get a discount. 5%.
Isn't that sealed product?
Huh?
You don't want them stale. I would assume the potato chips are
sealed product. Yeah, it was sealed product. But they may not send the bag of potato chips overseas because it's a sealed product.
Possibly.
All right. Arturo Ferretti asks, what do you think about the burn version without Eidolon and with Luris, 4 Dragon Rage Chandler, 4 Bobble, and maybe 2 light up the stage? Are you familiar with the new
I'm not. I know what most of those cards do, so I kind of get what it's doing. It sounds like more of a prowessy, stormy kind of thing.
Something like that. Okay, so this is a new Delver. But you're going to love this. You're going to love this. This is a Delver that when you cast non-creature spells, you get to surveil once. You look at the top of your library and you can put it into your graveyard. So if you it's like lightning bolting. Oh, I see a land. Well, put that in the graveyard. So it's going to help increase the chance of drawing good stuff. And it'll be a reasonable 3/3 creature. Although it has flying, but it has to attack each combat if able.
Hey, flying's huge. Flying is one of the... maybe that's wrong now, but traditionally... Flying is one of the strongest mechanics in the entire game.
Still pretty good.
I bet it is, yeah. Okay, I get this card. It's a version that doesn't have Eidolon, does have this, and then what else does it?
It's playing Bauble, so that it increases the chances of you hitting Delirium, because otherwise it'd be land, creature, and sorcery, but if you get that random artifact in there, it's so much easier.
I mean, I guess really this seems like a strong card. This seems playable, like more than playable. This seems like a potentially really strong card, especially if you're building around it.
Well, it's seeing play in a lot of decks, but not burn yet.
One thing about it is I might want to run a few more fetch lands than that burn version we saw earlier from, was it QB Turtle?
QB Turtle.
Yeah, I would maybe want to run a few more fetch lands just to try to increase the chance I have a land in my graveyard.
Honestly, that probably is not going to be that relevant because, again, that surveil is going to help you feed. It helps get that land in the graveyard like really reliably.
Haste, right? No, it doesn't get haste.
No haste.
Okay. Yeah, because that might be a big difference to get it on.
You want this card to do everything?
Yes.
Card already does quite a bit.
It already does quite a bit. No, so I think that sounds good. That sounds, at the very least, and again, this is maybe me at my age showing. At the very least, it sounds fun. God forbid the game should ever be fun, right? God forbid we should ever not be trying to maximize our EV. Do people still use that term, EV?
Oh yeah, of course. Okay. Well, that's not going to go away. I mean, that's a mathematical term.
If you had told me a month ago CMC was going away, I'd been like, "What are you talking about?" So,
well, the CMC wasn't invented by, like, I don't know, mathematicians and statisticians.
Fair enough, fair enough. But well, again, so it would never go away, but they replace it with something, right?
Yeah.
For all I know, EV is called, I don't know, like value output or something like that now. I don't know.
They calling these cars now EVs, and it's really fucking with my brain here. You know, the electric. It took me quite a while. They keep saying they're selling these EVs. They're making EVs. I'm like, what the hell? They're making expected value. Like I can sort of understand. Then eventually clicked, oh, electronic vehicle. I don't like that. I don't like that, to be honest. It's merging too many worlds.
Well, just wait till they go back to Kaladesh again, right? Return to Kaladesh, and then we'll get like a vehicle list, and it'll be like, oh, EV, producing tons of EV for all the EVers. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening?
Yeah, so Fox is like, Burn looks fun as hell, and you guys don't know this, but like Day 2 Dryden had this huge phase of taking really popular modern staples and just forcing it into Burn. He bought Tarmogoyf. How many times did you buy Tarmogoyf? I want to say at least 2, maybe 3 times. You bought, sold this card, sold this card. How many Tarmogoyfs do you own right now?
0.
Yeah, he has no Tarmogoyfs.
Before they crashed. Thank goodness for that. I got you to get rid of them for me. Yeah,
I know. I asked every vendor, and then I sold it to... it was the last one. Sold it for the highest price, actually.
And I didn't lose money on it, thank goodness. But, well, whatever. That was... Yeah, no, I bought I think twice. I was trying to remember whether it was 2 or 3 times, but I think I only bought a playset of Tarmogoyfs twice.
You bought Snapcaster Mage, and it was only to put it in his Burn deck, more or less.
Yeah, well, I was trying to make Wizards work before Wizards was a thing, right? Before, and then I ended up again. Thankfully, I had them when I wanted to. You and I drove out to Dauphin, Manitoba. It's probably the biggest Magic tournament they ever had there. But again, it was a PTQ, I think.
PPTQ.
Or a PPTQ. Right?
I hope they bring back the PTQs. That'd be great. Those were big events. It's like a mini GPs.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was trying to make Blue-Red Wizards work before it was even a thing, and then the problem was that the only card that really was worth the blue was the Snapcaster Mages, and it's like, okay, well, yeah. Anyway, so there's Snapcaster Mages. What else was I think I tried to jam Bedlam. Oh yeah, I was playing Bedlam Revelers. Before that was like a somewhat regular thing, and then before Prowess was a thing, I was throwing Bedlam Revelers into Burn, regular Boros Burn. I can't remember. I wasted so much money on random crap.
Yeah, and you like played it like once, but whatever you wanted to do it.
That's true. Yeah.
Papa Joe asks, which hotels would you guys suggest if you're going to events in Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal for a GP? Well, I don't know about you, but I mean, I have a pretty consistent experience with Holiday Inn. I wouldn't say like it's the most amazing hotel in the world, but it's like reasonably priced and like the service is good.
The question's being cut off a little bit on my screen. Sorry, it's what was can you say the question to me again?
The question is, which hotels would you suggest if we go to events in Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal?
It depends what you want out of the tournament, is my opinion. If you're going there to grind, if you're going there to win the event, you just want something close, functional, something that's got like a continental breakfast kind of thing. So that's one less thing you have to worry about when you're waking up in the morning, things like that. If you're going there for fun, if you're going to go there for like nightlife or whatever, I mean, that changes the dynamic a lot. Maybe you want something that's closer to like the bar district or whatever. And you
don't go very far after you're drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Or, whatever. Maybe you're going there to pick up girls or whatever. Magic players.
I don't hear any of those stories.
Right. Or, again, not to stereotype, or, whatever type of, maybe your girls are going to pick up guys, whatever. Right. Or whatever. But if you're going there for more of the party scene, if you're going there for more of a fun time with your friends, then you're not going to be showing up at the event hall until 11 or noon for some sort of a draft. Then it doesn't matter that you're like across the street. But I will say that a lot of the times, I think I found that there was usually a deal, or there was usually some sort of collaboration between some close by hotels and the convention centers. Not always, but at the very least, I felt like usually you would save a little bit of money booking through those. It wasn't substantial. It wasn't like a 30% discount, but it would be on par, or maybe you'd save 5 or 10% or something like that. So it really depends on what you're doing. The one, I don't know if these are even still on the channel or not, but you can go back and watch our John's vlogs for our trips. We usually do a little bit to talk about the hotels we're in.
It might be unlisted, but it's still in the. There's a playlist of all the. There's a playlist of all the videos still.
Yeah. Other than that, that's the one thing. The only real terrible experience we ever had was when we stayed at like an Airbnb kind of thing in Toronto, and it was like the worst experience ever.
In a hotel, when you got to book hotels, people. Hotel's a hotel. Airbnb, you never know what you're gonna get. There was like what? No towel, no paper towel.
There was we could I could talk for an hour about how terrible that was. It was miserable. There wasn't the right amenities. They tried to screw me over on getting the deposit back. They tried to charge me like $2,000 to my credit card. It was ridiculous. I had to go through MasterCard to fight to like get my deposit returned to me. It was a nightmare.
Hey, how about Vexing Devil?
Oh yeah, we missed that earlier. Well, in what context?
Well, I think in the context of Burn. How can we have this?
Vexing Devil in a vacuum. The problem with the card is always the fact that it gives your opponent the choice, and this is not a new argument. So people in the stream might know this one already, but in general, right? If you're playing against good players, just like I talked about earlier, right? Decks that have a lot of tools at their disposal, they're going to reward good players. So if you're playing against really good players, they'll know how to use all the tools at their disposal, and this card gives your opponent the choice, right? If it was a 1 mana 4 damage lava spike, 4 of, absolutely put it in there, right? But the fact that you're not sure what it's going to do might be tough. Now,
maybe it was being asked about in Death
Shadow.
In
Death Shadow. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, I thought that was a
change anything.
I don't feel.
This has no synergy with Death Shadow at all
right now. I mean, I guess it's an early play that's cost 1 mana. That if they take the 4 no, because you want to damage yourself. No, I don't understand this.
We're just gonna say no.
I don't see it. I'm not saying it's unplayable, but I don't see the value in it compared to what they're probably already running. But I could be wrong. A lot of conditionals on my answers, like a politician.
We got a super chat. Cody Plant. Could you turn your volume down a bit? I think I'm getting some feedback.
Me?
You. Who else am I talking to? I'm not talking to the audience. Did you have a favorable year or season for playing Burn in the years you played Magic?
Yeah, I think so. Part of it was also becoming better at the game in general. I played when I was a teenager, and then I didn't play for basically almost my entire 20s. So I'm like, what do you mean Aura Shards is an $8 card? Like, all these other kind of things, right? And this is going to be maybe overly personal, but whatever. At that 5K that I was so close to finishing, but only finished in second.
Straight to the finals.
Yeah, so close to winning that game. That game 3. Anyway, John, who for those of you who don't know, is a very competitive player and doesn't always. He's a very good friend, but to be John's friend, you also need to know that he will not sugarcoat things for you very. He will speak his mind, and he will say it in the shortest, simplest way he can, whether that's going to hurt your feelings or not. So after that tournament, John paid one of the best compliments he ever gave to me, and he said, like, okay, I think you're at the level now where. So he said something to the effect of, like, I don't think it would be out of the question to call yourself sort of a spike now, right? In terms of your ability to play, and like you can go spike tournaments, and you're. Whereas for a while, like I said, I was throwing Tarmogoyf into this deck for some weird reason. I was goofing around. I was whether I could have been sort of more spike-ish or not. I was doing pony moves, right? So,
well, Well, even for that year earlier, you were top 8ing PPTQs
Yep.
like very consistently. You might have top 8ed all like 80% of them or something like that. Like you top 8ed
probably about
almost
right.
all of them. And then that was like the big victory where you like make it, and that was a serious tournament. That was like
Yeah.
I don't know, 80 something players or something like that.
I think right before. That's hard to say because I did play for a lot of years there, but not really my off the top of my head. When was I the most excited about Burn? It was probably, you know what? Honestly, it was probably the last year before COVID hit. It was probably 2019. Before Oko came out and before Uro came out. I thought and once the Sun-Baked Canyons and things like that were there, I thought there was a lot of play and a lot of, I thought that was a lot of fun. I would say that one. In terms of Legacy Burn, I've always found Legacy Burn to be quite fun because it's very streamlined, it's very simple, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but you get to, I don't know. I've always found Legacy Burn to be quite fun, although I never played Legacy regularly enough to sort of evaluate different eras, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to talk too much, but I also don't want to like feel like the people who are contributing to like donating for questions don't get enough of an answer. Trying to find that right.
I saw a question about the monkey.
Like Ragavan?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, I don't.
Okay, so there was like, here it is, Dalton, wake up. Let's look up
Ancient Silverback.
So with Ragavan, what is your opinion on this card? Because like, is it on the chopping block? Sort of. Like it has. Let's just say it's not on the chopping block today, but it has the potential.
We're talking about like a ban list, right? That's what they mean by that.
Like, well, yeah. Like so, yeah. Could it possibly get banned? Because this card, outside of very specifically Burn, is being played in every deck that can play red.
Yeah, I heard.
Maybe some versions of like Prowess don't play it, but outside of that, like basically every red deck plays this, or can.
But not Burn, you were saying?
Yeah, not Burn. Yeah. Well, to be fair, like this went 5-0, but that's the best Burn can do right now. It's just 5-0s in leagues. It's not even performing in preliminaries or modern challenges. So
well, sometimes that's how Burn can do well, because the one of the problems with Burn is that it's very easy to hate out. Mm-hmm. If people are prepared for it, like good luck, you're toast.
And people are bringing in the red hate because of the Prowess decks.
Yeah, and that can be it. You're right. Yeah, you get sort of collateral damage from core Firewalkers and other things that other decks are bringing in. It's funny when you showed me this card, because we obviously have a group chat that we're in, and I looked at this thing and I just remember thinking like, because again, it's hard for me to evaluate the red cards not within a Burn framework. Right. And the first thing I thought was like, if this thing had haste, awesome. Like, absolutely. Here you go. Like, I'll be able to dump my hand by turn 3 because it makes a treasure, right? Yeah. Oh, oops, I don't have my white source. Too bad. Sack the treasure, Boros Charm you, like whatever, right? All this stuff. But because it doesn't have haste, I was like, this doesn't work for Burn. And so I was like, whatever. Like, I don't care about. But yeah, this seems like an extremely powerful, early, versatile card. Absolutely.
Oh, we've got Fraser with the super chat. Thank you very much, Fraser. Been watching your old vlogs and wondered, if an opponent misplays accidentally, do you ever let them know after the round to help them, or is it rude? And so first, my answer would be, you really have to read your opponent if they want feedback. If they start asking questions, then about the game, then you clearly know that they are interested in feedback. Tell them everything. After someone loses, some people are like incredibly demoralized and they don't want to hear feedback. Actually, they want to think like they played the best and they only lost because they got unlucky. So you have to read your opponent. Like if they're really pissed, I will just let them simmer, and they're going through an emotional process. They have to get through it, and they may not want to be listening to feedback. Like a lot of people don't even want feedback, so just keep that in mind. So I make a judgment call after the game is done. How was your approach, Andrew?
No, I'd say the same thing, right? You got to just know that I think it makes a difference online or in person too. The question doesn't seem to really.
It has to be paper.
I would assume he's talking about paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Online, you can usually tell, right? Because the chat will come up, be like, sometimes people are like, "Oh, good game," or like, "Oh, that was what a battle," kind of stuff. And sometimes there's some really funny interactions there, and people are really good sports about it. But yeah, paper's a weird. I would probably err on the side of caution. Because even when you're trying to read their body language or whatever, you can sometimes misinterpret it. And unless they actually explicitly ask you, I wouldn't. And if they start to be like, "Oh, too bad you lucked out on that win," or like if they start to if they like vocalize to you that you only won because you got lucky, just like just let them be. Like they're probably in a bad place right now. Don't engage is what I would say, because you're just going to end up. Yeah, you're kicking a hornet's nest, and that thing makes 1/1s with death touch, so you don't want to do that.
I mean, I can tell you, I used to always give advice after the match, but then eventually there were a few opponents that were iffy, but one was really bad, where I said, you missed your, you have to be careful with your Eidolon trigger, because you missed your Eidolon trigger, and you missed your, like, Swift Spear trigger, and the person just stared right at me and says, "No, I didn't." And I'm looking at the life pad. I'm like, "You played all these spells. I didn't lose. I didn't lose the life." I'm saying that in my head. Like, no, didn't you, like, you took damage from your Eidolon, but I didn't take damage from my Eidolon. No, I didn't miss anything. Okay, I guess I just made a mistake. All right, we're going to move on here, because I get that this person was very angry, very upset at this point. So, and it almost seemed like I was making things worse, because all of a sudden they lost and they played bad at the same time. So anyway, since then I have now been just like Day 2 Dryden said, on the side of caution. You really got to know, because there's going to be a lot of people who don't want to know. They don't want to know. Yeah. Oh, Fox with the super chat. Did you mean John Finkel, the man, the myth? No, because my real name is Jonathan.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, not John Finkel. Although I do have a lot of respect for John Finkel. I do like that guy. I don't know a lot of Magic pros from back in the day, outside of like reading some articles and things, but I knew John Finkel's name because when I was in grade 7 or 8 or something like that, they used to sell. I guess all the cards have gone through the roof, right? But they used to sell these gold bordered. Some of them were reserved list cards.
You want to see the Gaia's Cradle?
Like a new one or like an old one? Oh, or just right.
World
but those are a lot of those are the collector edition version.
$91 for the gold
American
border.
Obviously, wow. Yeah. So I don't. This wasn't the one that John Finkel played, but because he was in 2000. In 2000. John Finkel won the World Championships, and what they used to do, and I really wish they would do this again, I think it's a really good idea, is they printed World Championship deck. Like, you could buy the 60 cards, actually the 75 cards that player made the top 8 of the World Championship with.
There's John Finkel's signature right there.
And I think some of them were signed. I don't think all of them were, but so John Finkel was playing a deck. He was playing a Tinker, Tolarian Academy, Masticore, Grim Monolith, Phyrexian Dreadnought, Metalworker. None of these are where's the original art? There you go. There's the original art. That one right there. 4/4 for 4 that you can regenerate or ping a creature with if you pay 2. Love that gorgeous old brown on the artifact. None of this gray, right? Gorgeous brown that it used to be.
This is the OG card.
Yep.
This was like $2 at the low of the pandemic, and then they started giving out the checks, and then boom, it's exploded to like almost $26, just because it's reserved list. Completely unplayable.
What? This can't be reserved list.
This is a reserved list card.
This is a reserve list card.
It's the reserve list card. See, part of the reserve list.
Oh my god, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Crap, I used to own some of these.
I found some extras in my trade binder. It's like, what?
Yeah.
We're gonna keep hold on to those because it was so worthless for forever, and then it just because it's an iconic card that's on the reserve list, but
Yeah,
it's completely
course.
unplayable. No one wants this card. Is there a single commander deck that even wants this card?
Well, I'm sure you could build a commander deck. I mean, think about something like a Tron deck, right? Like you could do a lot of stuff with this in a commander list or something, right?
This is so shitty. Like if you have infinite mana, just play Walking Ballista or something.
Yeah, you can only play one of them in your 99, John.
That's true.
And not John Finkel. You can only play one of these in your 99, Nikachu. So anyway, I do like John Finkel a lot because I bought his 2000 World Championship deck. It's the only reason I even know what Tinker and oh, nice.
Is there one? Oh my god. What does this deck look like? Alex.
Does it say? It should be in the flavor text
Alex
or something.
Fortel Folk World. Alex something.
It looks like there aren't many great matches for your search. Feels like Google's trolling.
Here we go.
Oh, they call it all right. They call it Static Orb, but it played some Merfolk. Is that what we're getting at? Oh no, this is just the Static Orb that was in the deck. Okay. In Toronto, no less.
Well, I don't know. I can't find it.
Okay, so this is the package here.
Here we go. Okay, so we have 2 Darting Merfolk, 4 Lord of Atlantis, 4 Merfolk Looter, 4 Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, 4 Vodalian Merchant, 2 Waterfront Bouncer, 4 Counterspell, 4 Gush, 4 Oppositions. It's basically an Opposition Static Orb deck. But
your win con is but your win con is Merfolk.
Eventually 4 Thwarts, so counter spells, creatures. Oh, that's
what does Thwart even do? Is Thwart like a counter spell for red spells or something?
No. It's you can the alternate cost of casting, I think, is returning 3 islands to your hand, and it's just counter target spell. Yeah, 3 islands. Returning 3 islands to your hand.
Oh,
and counter spell.
So this is like Snuff Out, but the blue version or whatever.
This is like a more expensive Days, but it's a hard counter.
No, but I thought this was is this part of the cycle of like Snuff Out and whatever? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Maybe it's part of the Snuff Out cycle. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It is Masks block.
I do love Masks block. That was a really good set.
It's a legit Merfolk deck. Static Orb Opposition.
That's
How much time do you have, by the way?
For the people who might not know, one of the reasons I stopped recording Magic was because I was finishing my my education degree. So, and the last year I've been a middle school teacher in the pandemic, which means I had no time anyway, but I really had no time because of the pandemic. So, however, because it's July, I have basically infinite time right now.
All right, we got infinite time. It's been a while since people have seen Day 2 Dryden, so we'll make it slightly longer.
I got a COVID cut now. They haven't seen me since I started shaving my head last year.
Oh, it was all the same anyway.
Wow.
You had nothing to cut off.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, look, just because you got that luscious mop on top of your head still, all right? You don't got to start throwing shade around.
Hey, I have to buy the medication to keep this stuff.
Oh, okay. That's true. Yeah. I'll tell you right now.
Some people notice.
Once you let go of it, you don't have to worry about hat hair. And as someone who lives in a place where it gets to be -40 every winter, right? Like you can't leave the house without either losing your ears or wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Well, I will say the crappiest thing about having hair, at least in Canada, is you have to wear like a toque or you have to wear some hat in the winter, and then it just ruins whatever hair you had, because when you take it off, everything is flat and stupid looking.
Yep. So I don't miss it. I'm happy I did it, and I'm never looking back.
Okay, well, Tiago really wants to know how's the burn matchup against Blue-Black Mill, and this deck has changed so much over the last 2 years because Mill back then was a joke. like when Day 2 Dryden was playing against her regularly. Today, Mill is like a real deck.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's pretty good against all the combo decks. You know, yeah, Mill your Primeval Titan. Okay, Surgical Extract it. Okay, now what do you want to do? You want to do anything at all? No? Okay, I win. So,
yeah, traditionally Mill was a good matchup because it's basically the same thing. The only difference is I'm counting to 20 and they're counting to 60 or 53 or whatever, right? Because you start with 7 cards in your hand.
I think it's effectively like a burn deck, but like if you look at it like that, I think I counted it's something like they have to mill something like 28 damage. Like I might be wrong. Maybe some mill players can be more specific. But like, you know, their burn spells don't deal nearly as much damage. But maybe I'm wrong now because they got some good ones, like 3 mana make you lose 10 cards. That's like, I don't know. I don't want to do the math in my head.
There's a lot of feast and famine kind of stuff going on too, where you get one bad turn where you fetch and then they like double archive trap you. And then the next turn they hit you with a Glimpse the Unthinkable or whatever. And next thing you're like, okay, wow, I'm actually in trouble. But they really had no way of They had no way of consistently winning without life gain. And their biggest way of gaining life was Crypt Incursion.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was called.
Yep. You barely have any creatures.
But you gain 3 life per, and even with
Oh yeah, that's right. It's 3 life per. So
yeah, right. So even with like 3 Goblin Guides and a Eidolon or something, right? Like it's like then it's enough for them to win the race. Mm-hmm. So basically, but you were already as a burn deck, you were bringing in Graveyard Hate. You had Graveyard Hate for other decks. So really, and a lot of the time it was Rest in Peace, or anyway, whatever. The long and short of it is traditionally you could lose, but it was a very favorable matchup.
This math can't check out. 2.5 damage. It's got to be like 2.75 because, well, let me do this.
It's like 4.
Because 10 cards, 60 divided by 10.
It's about a fifth. It's about a fifth of what you'd have at the start of the game. And yeah, no, it's closer to 4.
10 divided by 60. So it's 16% times 20 life. So it's like 3.3 damage if I've done my math correctly.
Yeah, but you're also starting from 60 cards. You don't start with 60 card library.
Yeah, that's right. We're starting at 53, so it's even higher.
53. So it's closer to 4 damage. Because 10 cards is
this guy's an education.
A little bit less.
So hold on, let me do this again. So
hey, I teach middle school math. I'm like Frank Karsten over here.
Oops. So hold on, 10 divided by 53 times 20. Okay, so it's closer to 4. It's like 3.77.
Yeah. And I think I'm pretty positive it's instant speed. Might be.
Well, no, there's quite a few cards now that mill like 10 cards.
Really? Ooh. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm out of the loop. But I know that you've mentioned before that mill has gotten a lot stronger.
Yeah, they gave a lot of tools to mill, and it's sort of well positioned. There's like more combo decks than ever before. These Living End decks, Amulet Titan. I can't remember this new stupid red card that has suspend. Red suspend.
I'm out of coffee. I'm gonna get a coffee refill. I'll be right back. Is that fine?
Go for it. Yeah, you can do that. Oh yeah, that's
pajama
totally
pants on. Is that okay?
You can do whatever you want.
All right.
It's called Glimpse of Tomorrow. Like that's hard for me to remember. Glimpse of Tomorrow. Because what is that? That's close to Search for Tomorrow. I should just remember. It's like Search for Tomorrow, but it's a glimpse of tomorrow instead. So I mean, like these deck, like I mean, if you surgically extract this, the deck. Well, I wouldn't say the deck does nothing, but the deck is a lot crappier.
Shuffle all permanents you own into your library, then reveal that many cards. Oh my god, there's so much text here. Okay, shuffle. Whatever, I don't need to.
Okay, you take all your permanents, basically wipe them from the board, and then reveal cards from the top of your library and replace the number of permanents in play. But then you play it like one of the cards you can reveal is like Goblin Dark Dwellers, and you can do this all over again. And the point is like that the cards that you reveal are going to have ETBs to put more permanents on the battlefield. like treasure tokens and stuff. So every single time you wipe the board, you get more stuff, and you just keep repeating this process as many times as you can until you have this stupid large board state. Anyway, pretty real deck is pretty real. It's picking up some steam.
I will say that's one of the things I still really do love and appreciate about Magic is some really weird cards like that can have really weird interactions. The one problem is that those completely unexpected and weird interactions that come out of nowhere tend to be busted more often than not. But in general, I mean, that really is one of the things that makes Magic the great game that it is.
All right, you know what time it is, people? It is time for deck list review. We're going to do deck list review. Do you like reviewing deck lists? Do you like looking at wacky deck lists?
Yeah, I get to just sit back in my ivory tower with no skin in the game and criticize.
Yeah, that's right.
This is an idiot. What?
All right, so if you want your deck list reviewed, today is the last day of the week to submit it, and then afterwards I'm going to clear the queue. Just let everyone know I clear the queue at the end of every Friday show, so you have to resubmit it for next week. But if you want it submitted for today, go into my description, join the Discord. From the Discord, join the channel, go to the channel Decklist Review, and then from there, use the command, as you can see, !review deck space, give the URL to your deck list, and you'll be eligible at random for deck list review. Yeah, everyone can hear the hype music in their head. The problem is whenever I have a guest, I can't play the music. I'm going to solve it. I did solve it with some program called, what's it called? Voice Meter. But for some reason, when I tried to make it work this morning, it just wasn't working. It just flat out didn't want to work with me at all. It just prevented me from playing music. I don't know what the technical difficulty was, but anyway, couldn't get it working for today. And I'll talk with a little bit of lag, but it would be great. Anyway, let's get into deck list review. Choose someone at random. We've got someone. We've got Zigil. What does Zigil have for us? Maverick in Historic. Do you play much Historic?
I was all excited for Legacy for a second there. I was like, oh, Legacy Maverick? I actually do know what this used to do. Oh, okay. Nothing against the deck yet.
I have to admit, I'm very far from playing Historic these days, so anyone in chat that has some good suggestions, I'm all ears, because I don't know dick all about what's going on in Historic right now. We got 3 Vivian, Champion of the Wilds, can cast creature spells as though they had flash, +1 until your next turn. Up to 1 target creature gains vigilance and reach. But you can go -2, look at the top 3 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, put the rest on the bottom of your library. And for as long as it remains exiled, you can look at the card and cast it if it's a creature card. Charming Prince, Daxos, 4 Elite Spellbinder, 4 Goose, 4 Night of the Reliquary. This is really shaping up to be modern almost. 4 Llanowar Elves, 2 Ramanap Excavator, 2 Scavenging Ooze. 3 Skyclave Apparition, 3 Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Holy crap.
This is a very, And 4 Coco. Oh, man.
Yeah, they've had Coco in Historic for a while. Works really well with Merfolk.
Just because you're right. Yeah, this looks like a modern list. I like this.
But why the Ramanap? You may play land. You don't even have fetch lands. Like, what do you want to bring back from your graveyard? The Ghost Quarter?
The only thing I can think of is you also have Bajuka Bog. Potentially.
I guess you do have a fetch land. You have Fabled Passage. Well, Bajuka Bog doesn't really go to the... Well, I guess it can go to the graveyard with Night of the Reliquary.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, you're also putting lands in your graveyard. But you want the lands in your graveyard. Yeah, but you do put lands in... Well, I guess you can bring back Lasso and you have some stuff.
You can only sacrifice mountain or forests and plains, which I forgot about, right?
Yeah. So you can...
Yeah, so you actually... Yeah, you can't... Yeah, no, you can't use Knight for that combo.
Actually, that's a really good point. Sacrifice a forest or plains. Search library for a land. How many forests and plains?
I guess you can fetch it, but you can't recur it. Yeah.
It's a forest. This is a plains. This is a forest and plains. Okay, I think in between the Fabled Passage, I think you've got enough. This needs Elvish Reclaimer or Dryden of the Elysian Grove, but is that Historic? This is a Historic list, not modern.
What are the Historic rules again?
Don't ask. I mean, it's like a bunch of arbitrary cards in the format at this point.
Oh, right. Sorry. When I asked the question, I had Pioneer in my mind. I'm like, isn't it just everything from this form? But no, Historic's Historic's like
Historic
It's
is
almost
basically
like
anything
Wizard
that was
Cube
printed.
format, right?
It's like everything printed on MTG Arena plus a bunch of arbitrary cards from the past.
Right.
Worm Coil Engine, Dark. I think there's Dark Confidant in this set.
Right.
I mean, this is how like
Okay.
Thalia got in here. They're both in Historic. We have Dryden of the Elysian Grove in Historic. I guess there's no Valakut, so no one cares. So why Dryad? Why do you need to ramp? What's the point of that? I can see the Elvish Reclaimer though. Why not Force Skyclave Apparition? I don't know. This is not my list.
What's Thalia doing? Like,
Well,
I guess
Thalia might be taxing the control decks.
I guess so. I guess in my mind, so often these Coco decks are all about hitting Coco on like turn 3. Well, you're not hitting Coco on turn 3 if you Thalia, regardless of what you do on turn 1.
What is even going on in Historic?
So, like, I don't know. I
Is
guess
it
I'm just.
Phoenix? Oh, is it Phoenix? That's a deck. Yeah, I see the value.
I like this. This I like.
This is like, look at this, huh?
Silliness.
Maybe we want like more. The problem is playing Skyclave Apparition against this stuff. I don't even think is very good because they kill the Skyclave Apparition, then they just get a 4/4 creature anyway. Oh, Dryad makes everything plains and forests.
Oh,
well,
it gives it all types.
Yeah, but that's only the lands in play. I don't know if that's that important because you can you just need to sack one plains or forest, and then the knight will just keep finding stuff, like keep finding plains and forests for eternity. So I don't think it's worth jamming like when I think of Dryad, I think of like you want to make a bunch of land drops onto the battlefield because you want to play a big creature. I don't think Dryad has that much synergy, but I think Elvish Reclaimer does, especially since you got a little bit of a toolbox going on here. But you'd have to kick out something like Llanowar Elves. This deck seems to want to play to its 3 drops a little bit, and it's Linvala. Yeah, it's got a bunch of 3 drops, so I like the Mana Dorks more than I like Elvish Reclaimer, but you probably could do something like that. Listen to Genji? I don't know who that is.
Wasn't it the person who just said that we want the Dryad in there? I missed the name. I don't know. Like, I mean, the list. I don't know. Again, I don't know Historic really well, like at all, right? But I mean, it looks playable, but it's got a curve. It's got things that do things.
It does.
But I mean, I don't understand the. If this is supposed to be a competitive deck, like not just sort of like a fun and you will win some games deck, I don't understand the main thrust of its win cons here.
It's just a green white good stuff deck.
Yeah, which is fine, and maybe I'm undervaluing that.
I would just Vivian Champ in the Wilds. You already got the Collected Company, so I don't know if you need more things that give your creature. Like, I don't see this as a very valuable card if you play this on turn 3 and go -2. Like, you're basically wasting time as far as I'm concerned. There's got to be something better you can do with your 3-drop than this. This seems like a very underwhelming card, unless maybe I'm grossly underrating this.
Maybe it depends how important the flash is. Flash is really good ability on here, but yeah,
already a Historic Company deck that's working like this. Let's go find that.
Okay. I'm gonna go make coffee. Be right back.
Okay, I thought you were making coffee already.
Never mind.
Okay, we got okay, so let's look at the Selesnya Company deck. And just as I said, there's we don't got this Planeswalker here. Now, I mean, maybe they want to make their own version, whatever. So we have Luminarch Ascendant, Scavenging Ooze, Archon of Emeria. This is pretty strong. Elite Spellbinder. What the hell is this? Neverland enters the battlefield. Oh, it's a land and a creature. That's pretty sick. Lovestruck Beast. So this is very mid-rangey. Like, it only has 1 Llanowar Elf, which, whatever, it's fine. But this is more clunky, I would say, this deck. But something we can learn here is that they're not even playing this this Planeswalker. You go more in on Collected Company. So what is the biggest difference? Like, okay, this... Whatever, keep it. Definitely remove the Vivians. Add another. I think this deck is more all in on Skyclave Apparition. Yeah, they got 4. So if they like 4, you go 4. So you play 4. Play maybe another Scavenging Ooze to put a hurt on... Actually, you cannot put a hurt on Crackling Drake or anything like that. And this is also mana intensive. I don't mind Linvala, but I don't know what big purpose it has in this metagame, outside of being just a really good big 3/4 creature. Mammoth and Lovestruck Beast lets you play the Henge on turn 4. Well, that's that deck. This is not a Henge deck. This is more of a Collected Company deck. Or in Vivian of the Wilds. And Vivian doesn't even have synergy with Collected Company. I still don't like the Vivian. I'd replace Vivian and up your creatures everywhere else. I think your sideboard is okay. I'd love to give like more Razor accurate feedback, but because I don't know exactly what are the best sideboard cards for which matchups right now. But I can just tell you straight up, this card, you're going to play this on turn 2 or turn 3. You're going to waste your time. And then you're going to get tempoed out by the deck that's playing like a real threat on turn 2 or turn 3. That's about it. Ash says, I have a budget crap Merfolk deck. What 3 cards would you suggest to first put in the deck? A budget... I don't know what you're missing. Threats. Put in threats. That's the first thing you'd want to put in.
Probably Aether Vial. If it's a budget, I'm guessing it doesn't have Aether Vial.
But the thing is, like, maybe it doesn't even have Lord of Atlantis. Lord of Atlantis spiked into $15.
What?
Yes, because because Modern Horizons 2 gave Merfolk a lot of new tools, and then Merfolk was doing incredibly well on the very first few weeks. There was like no blue-red decks. Merfolk did incredibly well for the first few weeks, and then it spiked all the Merfolk cards.
Paper or online?
Paper, both. Paper though. Yeah, you're like, I was saying, well, just buy the 5th edition Lord of Atlantis. The 5th edition went to $15. Maybe it went down. I mean, we can look on the MTG stocks. Anyway, my only suggestion: remove the Vivians. Fill in your cracks. I think that's okay. Good luck with the list. Let's quickly look at MTG stocks. You like MTG stocks?
I do. I haven't gone there for a long time, but it's well run and organized, and you've got the filters in there. It's a really, this and Goldfish. There's a lot of really good. A lot of really good.
Market prices catching up really fast. So I mean, I think the actual price is about $8. I think if I understand correctly, the market price is what it's actually being sold for, whereas the average is just what's available out there on the market.
Yeah, I forget I think the average is based off like TCG sellers or something like that. But
yeah, but they can have unrealistic prices.
Yeah, you can post
like Oboro to something dumb,
basic whatever for $8,000. Oh
my God, Strip Mine, Uneven Horizon. Is that my strip mine? I don't remember. This is fucking Bitcoin, in my opinion. These antiquities strip mines. They've got they have the weirdest patterns. Look, it like spiked and then just crashed almost back down to nothing. Where's the other ones? The one with the tower. Look at that. Look at that huge spike and it just falls down and then spikes again.
It's volatile and weird.
Anyway, there's no cheap Lord of Atlantis anymore. Even the crappy versions are expensive.
Hey, do you have is it easy to get the collector's edition one? Where's that? No, it's down there. I saw it.
$40 now.
Wow.
I told you not to sell that one.
Did.
You still have it?
You still have it? To sell them. You did. Yeah.
Yeah, don't sell it. Don't sell it because I told you not to sell it because all the other beta staples like went out of their mind. They just all spiked out to crazy, and I'm like, This is a beta Lord of Atlantis. It's basically beta Lord of Atlantis. There's no way that, and this is a very iconic card. There's no way it's sitting at five Canadian dollars at the time too.
Yeah, it's like the perfect proxy or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like an official proxy almost. Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right.
Well, okay, it's selling for around average $40, but it's probably selling around 17.
Still,
I'll check it out for Dark Runner. Okay, let's look at another deck list. We are still in deck list review.
You asked why I had to go make coffee twice or whatever. I was gonna say I was wishing that one day back in the day. Remember when you were flirting with the idea of having Nescafe Gold as one of your sponsors?
Well, we don't mention them anymore.
Oh,
we don't mention that on stream. What are you doing? They gotta pay. Nescafe. Oh, I did it again. What are you making me do? I have not actually mentioned their name since like actually last year. So basically, I gave them like a free month of advertising. I'd still drink the stuff. I drink it daily. Like the love the coffee, but I asked for sponsorship. Said no. Okay,
I know. I was all excited because I like it too, but
it's not a free ride here.
All right, fair enough. Got to send me some Nestle Crunch or something too. Oh, who was that? I missed who that was. Whoever that was, thank you. Yes, nice to see you. Dark. Oh, Dark. I do remember that name. Yep. It's weird. I don't even go on that Twitter account anymore. Part of the problem was I didn't want to go back and comb through like 3 years of like whatever I'd said on Twitter about Magic and whatever else, and have some student dig up some like bad joke I made about some whatever, right? Like, you know. So I'm just like, all right, I'm just making the account private. I'm not. Nope. That's all I need. All I need to do is lose my job because I made some bad joke 3 years ago.
They're gonna ask you, well, are you coming back to Magic content creation?
I want to say
right
yes.
now.
Pardon? Yeah. What are you tuned into? Open your eyes. I want to say yes, but at the moment I have no timeline on that. As I mentioned, I'm working as a teacher now, which nothing against Magic, and I was doing very well early on, largely due to the fact that I'm friends with Nikachu, so I was able to get a leg up early on. But the provincial government in Manitoba pays me better than most Magic content creation does, and the crazy thing is, well, not the crazy, but it was. A lot of my content creation skills were very useful because basically what you're doing when you're teaching, especially teaching something the first time, is I feel like you're basically just doing content creation every day. So I was sort of doing 6 hours of content creation every day. Only it was about teaching about, I don't know, evolution and ecosystems and fractions and whatever else I was having to teach these middle school kids. So the idea, so I was basically coming home and doing content creation all evening to do it the next day. So I wasn't able to, I just don't have the creative juice to get any more out of my brain. Mm-hmm. So hopefully soon I get some sort of a permanent job. I know what I'm teaching all the time, and I'll be able to not have to make something new every semester, every day. And then I can look into that. But right now the creative output of my brain was maxed out. So again, I'm making a lot of excuses, and I apologize for that. But yeah,
Adam Smith is like, it's kind of crazy seeing people succeed from Manitoba as a Saskatchewanian. It makes me feel better about our provinces. Well, yeah, and there's actually quite a few content creators from Winnipeg. Funny enough, we have nothing better to do. Sitting at home, you want to go. Well, I mean, I guess if you like the cold winter snowy sports. I'm not a snowboarder or anything like this.
I haven't. Yeah, I mean, hockey season's been canceled since last year. I haven't skated in 16 months, something like that, right? Like, yeah, it's weird.
John likes his hockey.
I do like hockey.
All right, we got Ponza here from Lefty Taters. Congratulations, Lefty Taters. You're the next contestant on Decklist review. All right, let's Arbor.
Okay, so at least this one, and this is modern, right?
This is modern, yeah.
Okay.
Confirmed. Arbor Elf, Bloodbraid Elf, Elder Gargaroth. That actually saw quite a bit of play even during the Euro metagame. I don't know what happened to this card. Tasty.
I remember this was spoiled. It was like it was just so power creep. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
You would think for 5 mana it wouldn't see play, but it does. Okay, Fury. That's a new one. And actually, yeah. the only deck not the only deck, but the deck I'm seeing this thing in the most is in actually these Ponza decks. 3/3 double strike. Was it you or Rodney? You're like steaming about this, that you can't deal damage to the opponent.
I said that. No, that's something I would have said if I thought it were playable in burn. If it could do that, but even if it could deal damage to players, like this isn't burn playable.
Really?
You can evoke it.
Card? Yeah.
Nope, sorry, I didn't see that part. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah, you exile a red card and you can play for free.
Then it would be playable if you could do that.
Absolutely.
Might
But anyway,
be playable anyway in the right metagame. More like a red deck wins type of card, I think. But I mean, whatever. It's not. Rodney was the one who was losing his mind every time a card got spoiled in red that wasn't like Price of Progress, though. He's just absolutely losing his mind for like 3 days. It's just ridiculous. I like this card. I think it's good. This is the one that makes treasures, right?
Yes. Flying haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell, a treasure token. Treasures you control have tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 2 mana.
Yeah, it buffs your doubles your treasures. Neat.
But I don't like it. Like I'd rather just play what's it called? Glorybringer.
Yeah. Is the Fury legendary?
No.
No. Yeah. To me, the dragon seems like a fun card, but to me, this feels win more. Right, this feels like at this point you want something that's going to close out the game a little bit better than this. I mean, it's a 4/4. It has haste, so I mean, it's going to attack at least, right? And,
yeah, but it's Glorybringer.
That's true.
Bring the glory.
That's true. I mean, the difference is that. Oh no, you can just attack with Glorybringer every turn, right? Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to.
What's it called?
Yeah. What's it called? Exert.
Exert.
Don't exert yourself, Glorybringer. Gotta take a nap once in a while.
And I mean, how many things are making treasures? I don't actually know.
No, it doesn't matter. The point is, okay, you have 5 mana. You're at the top of your curve. You don't need artifacts, so this card is not relevant. So you should just play Glorybringer or like more of these cards if you want.
Yeah,
just
I totally agree. Yeah,
you're not gonna be playing like several 5 drops a turn or something.
It's got the Blood Moon. It's got the Ramp.
Huge fan of Glorybringer. Yeah, we got Blood Moon, Utopia Sprawl, Season Pyromancer, Clothis. These are all usual suspects. Oh, we're going heavy actually on the land destruction part here. 3 Molten Rain, 4 Pillage in the main deck.
Well, I mean that's their game, right? That's the whole.
Some of them play just 4 Pillage, and some of them just like put the Pillage in the sideboard. Like they're not that heavy.
Good. Then I like this deck. This deck knows what it's doing, and it does it. None of this half measures baloney. I'm going to ramp on turn 1, and you are going to have 0 lands, and then when you do have any lands, they're going to get Blood Mooned, and you aren't going to have any fun, and I'm going to have all the fun, and I'm going to top 8. This deck knows what it's doing, and it's not taking any prisoners.
Is Ignoble Hierarch good for this deck? No, because this deck is trying to leverage Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl. So basically, it's a Utopia Sprawl deck, and if you play Utopia Sprawl, you're better off with Arbor Elf.
I don't know.
Because it can untap the forest with Utopia Sprawl in it.
Actually, wait, yeah. Is that the only... Normally, okay, well, that's weird. I feel like what this deck wants is a couple of more mana dorks then, because even... Well, this is obviously Arbor Elf is the better one, but you...
We have 8. What more do you want?
Wait, where's the other one?
Utopia Sprawl basically is a mana dork, because you enchant a forest, and then it taps for 2 mana.
I feel like this deck used to play another 1-drop, whether it was like a Llanowar Elf or like I don't think
it was Birds of Paradise before Utopia Sprawl. Like Utopia Sprawl took over. So there was a point where mana dorks just became close to unplayable, and the only reason they're playing Arbor Elf is because it has a combo with Utopia Sprawl. But at some point, people realized like Utopia Sprawl is just the better way to go because you can't target this with removal. So you go turn 1 Utopia Sprawl, and you can't bolt the bird no more. Yep. And then turn 2, you're guaranteed your like Blood Moons, your Clothis, your Season Pyromancers, and whatever.
I think I would want a 12. I would want 9 to 12 1-drop mana ramps. Maybe it doesn't fit it well.
Way too much, actually. I think that's too much. That's a lot. Like, how many things do you have left to win the game? Because this deck is already pretty heavy on like Blood Moon. I think this is standard.
You've got all the time to win the game. The opponent can't do anything.
Okay.
They are going to have.
You're blowing up 1 land. You're gonna have 0 lands, huh? Anyway, I'll stick to the conventional 8. I think 8 is good, especially in a deck that's heavier on Ponzing.
Regarding every one of my opinions, you should always listen to Nikachu over me. He's a way better player than I am. I'm going to say it like I'm right.
All right.
But let's just be real. I would, if you're not sure which one of us is correct, you should probably guess it's him.
This deck could play a Bosch if we scrap Bloodbraid Elf, I guess. You have to scrap... you have to scrap Chandra. Chandra's a good one, and Ren and 6. You'd have to work for it to make. You could make it work, but in this particular build, this player is not going to do it. Pawns after Modern Horizons 2, running some of the new cards such as Fury to deal with Ragavan. Also running more land destruction for killing Urza's Saga. With the addition of the new cards and some main board changes, it seems like there should be consistently a LD spell and removal spell. Oh, land destruction, yeah. Well, I mean, you could more or less got it. So you got Anger, Boil, Choke. Oh, this deck really is going to screw those lands.
It knows what it's doing. I like this.
Cindervines, Collector Oof, Shatterstorm, Trinosphere, Wheel. Oh, the Wheel of Sun and Moon. Like this is specifically for those mill decks. Mill's a big thing. Mill's a big thing.
I do like this.
I think Trinosphere is a good card in this matchup. Or a good card in this deck, and also a pretty good card for the metagame. Make everything really clunky.
Trinosphere is a strong card. Very strong card.
Very underrated card in Modern. Hard to use though.
Yes. It wasn't something I saw as a burn player very often, but when it did show up, it caused problems. Did you see that? The pillage against the food decks?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right. If it showed up on my screen, you're the one who does that.
Yeah, we both see it, basically. So yeah, I would say the main thing, get rid of Goldspan Dragon, play more of these, or Glorybringer.
How important is Ren and 6 right now? I mean, they said they were doing it to fight Ragavan, which, okay, that's... but how important is Ren and 6 in this deck?
You know what? All I can tell you is that like they all play it. They all play it. You can snipe off a Dragon Rage Channeler very early in the game. Yeah, I can hit Ragavan really early in the game. I'm not in love with Ren and 6 overall. I really don't care about this card. I guess in theory it can sometimes also kill 4 toughness creatures if you snipe it for 1 damage and finish it off with a lightning bolt.
It looks like a really good utility. Like it looks like it does a lot, like a Swiss Army knife almost for what this deck wants to do. And for 2 mana and a Planeswalker, I mean how 2 mana? It's got to be pretty bad to be a 2 mana Planeswalker that isn't very good.
Anyway, that's all the suggestions I have. We got Wavernor asking a question. Everyone's asking, what's going to happen to the price of Ragavan? I was going to make a video on this, and I just scrapped it because I don't want to influence the markets. But anyway, it hasn't gone down at all. Like, it's not budging past $80. Because people are waiting for the supply to increase, but every single time, like as there's more supply, people just keep buying it because this is like a 4x card in so many decks. You know, whether you're playing Jeskai Stoneblade, Death Shadow, Black Green Midrange, you're playing some versions of Prowess. Basically, everyone wants like 4x of this card. The food decks were playing it. If you're playing red and you're not playing burn, you have to like give like a really good explanation or a thesis why you're not playing like a play set in this deck. So it's very, very, very hotly demanded card. And a lot of people are also waiting for the price to go down, which it's not. So there's going to be a point where people are just going to be forced to buy it because they realize, well, the supply is what it is. But I don't know how far that supply is going to go because I think maybe the supply is going to be different from Modern Horizons 1. I can't really speak. Like, so it's so much depends on how many Ragavans are going to be out there because we know it's Modern Horizons 1. They cut off the supply pretty early, and then cards spiked like almost immediately. But here there's other versions available. There's collector. There's like collector. What's it called? Collector. I want to call it collector boosters.
Yeah. I haven't been plugged into it because it's just whatever. But have they talked about like limited supply runs? Have they said that kind of stuff? Is that that guy in Florida?
I can't remember exactly how they worded it, but I want to say they're printing to demand. But I don't know how long that demand is going to run for.
Well, depends on this. Yeah, just I made the mistake about the coffee company earlier. we talk about the guy in Florida who makes the booster box opening videos? The guy who talks.
Everything else outside of Nescafe, everything goes.
Oh, don't say it.
I know I fucked up again. It's because you're here.
All right, yeah. Well, I mean,
Rudy. Oh yeah, we can talk about Rudy.
Hmm?
There's nothing against. I don't know what the big taboo is around Rudy. I watch Rudy. I just don't watch his. I don't watch his unboxing videos. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really. Whatever. He's a very polarizing figure for whatever reason. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I would see what he says about supply and stuff, but I mean, yeah, this card just seems way too versatile and way too useful. The demand isn't going to go down.
There's so much value in these Modern Horizons 2 boxes that maybe a lot more people are cracking these boxes immediately than they did with Modern Horizons 1.
What's going on with in terms of cracking product and stuff like that? Like, it sounds like a lot of places in the US are back to more of a normal life where they got events and things like that. But I know, like, here in Winnipeg, I'm not going to an F&M. I don't think we're allowed to have.
I don't think we don't have F&Ms.
No, we don't have any of that kind of stuff, right? So, but I think a lot of places in the States have like their local game stores cracking packs and things like that again and opening things up. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's gonna. I don't know. It just that to me would also be a factor to consider in terms of whether the supply is going to increase. Because yeah, based on the versatility and the quality of this card, the demand isn't going to go down.
Have you seen the expected EV of a set of Modern Horizons 2? Well, I mean, at what point? I mean, EV when it was released was enormous. I think now it's crashed, but I'm not familiar with the current EV because like the EV keeps going down, right? Like
we don't say EV anymore. Remember,
going down.
It's value output. It's VO. We have to change it so we don't get it confused with cars.
Oh, VO?
What? Yeah, value output. Remember?
That's so weird. No. The cars need to change. Expected value is like.
What is it? EV? What are you going to say? CMC next? Oh, you're like a dinosaur.
It's a statistical. It's statistical terminology.
Oh, okay.
I mean, using they're not going to change the textbooks for this, but they can change like expected value has been around since the dawn of time.
You're going to put damage on the stack back next. You're ridiculous. Get out of here, old man. Go scream at some more clouds.
The future EV of a set box is almost $500. What the hell does that mean?
What is it, like stocks? Like you're buying futures?
Yeah,
I don't understand this. I don't understand.
That's what I'm thinking too. The future EV. So some people
it probably means I'm the ignorant one, but I don't understand what the sentence means.
If I'm understanding this correctly, it sounds like someone made a prediction that the box will be $500 in the future. So that's what the future EV is.
I mean, I feel like that's okay, but how bold of a prediction is that? What's a box of Shadowmoor worth? Like eventually, like of course it'll be 500 eventually.
Yeah, the question is when.
Right.
Is it going to be
20 years from now? Is it going to be
exactly.
in 2 months? Like those are right. I mean, sorry, not just to make clear, I'm not trying to crap all over Dark Runner's comment there. I feel like I need more information to evaluate how bold of a prediction that is.
Yeah, we are Canadian, very Canadian. I know a lot of people think I'm from the United States.
I mean, you're rude like an American.
That's right. I feel like the Americans have gotten more humble, though. You know. I remember they were, maybe I'm just remembering things wrong, but like before the first financial crash, they were a little bit more arrogant back then.
Well, I watched
big financial crisis makes them a little bit more appreciative.
This is a bit of a weird tangent to go on. It won't be that long. Don't worry. Have you seen Hamilton, the Broadway production?
The what?
The Hamilton, the musical.
Oh, Hamilton. I'm familiar with Hamilton, but I'm not.
You haven't seen it?
Seen the Broadway.
It's on Disney Plus. In case you did, that's the only way I've seen it. Anyway, I liked it. It was very good. All that. It was like very obviously the guy's talented, but I'm like, how about like a quarter of the way through? I'm like, wow, this is like really pro-America. Like, and again, like nothing wrong, but it was like a little bit much. So yeah, no, I think there's a lot of. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who are sort of waking up to the fact that the world's a more complicated place than that. Again, just to make sure I'm really clear, I lived in America for a while. I lived in Wichita, Kansas, right?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So very briefly. So, well, for a couple of years. So I have a lot of friends from the States.
I didn't know that at all.
I do very much.
You're basically partially American now.
I thought I would have mentioned that to you.
When? How old were you?
I was in middle school, so like grade 7, grade 8.
It's way before my.
It was after September 11th. I know, or no, it was. Yeah, it was 2002, 2003, around there. So anyway, I have a lot of friends in the States. I really like it. So I don't want to act like I'm crapping on Americans wholly and completely. Anything I say, any fun of making I do of Americans, I would do the exact same thing to Canadians. So just to make clear.
Little Bird, Force Negation is, in my opinion, a comparable card, but Ragavan is almost always a 4 of. Well, that's the thing. Force Negation was not a 4 of at all. And it wasn't played nearly in nearly as every single, like every blue deck. It is a mythic, and at the moment it sees play in more decks. Force Negation didn't fall too much, and then rose to infinity, more or less. Like, and that's what I want to get at. Like, but Force Negation didn't have as much, wasn't as printed.
Wasn't it also a sideboard card in a lot of decks? Like, wasn't Force Negation the kind of thing where, Amulet Titan's big, so I'm gonna maybe put a couple into my sideboard or something? Like, it wasn't always main deck, and it wasn't always a 4 of, or am I mistaken?
No, it was partially sideboard, partially a little, like, and when it was in the main deck, it was just a few copies. Like, the only deck that even wanted to play 4 copies were Merfolk at the time. Now we have Blue Living End playing 4 copies, but and that probably contributes to how the price has been going up. But yeah, it wasn't a super necessary card. So the card went down, and I think around June. I don't know. At some point, the supply stopped, and then the card went from like $30 to $50 quickly because the word got out. Oh, there's no more supply. Oh, then it went down a little bit, and then just slowly kept going back.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that much now.
Because
when did I buy mine? I bought mine at the last Grand Prix we went to.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been what, summer of 2019?
Yeah, probably.
Would have had to been, I guess. Yeah, that's about right. I think I paid 45 American for mine.
Okay, I think that's going to be about it. So, as usual, we're going to thank everyone. If you want to see the replay, go check out Nikachu MTG Streams, the alternate YouTube channel. Maybe you don't even know about that alternate YouTube channel. I got 2 YouTube channels now. You've been away from the magic for so long. Oh,
that you've got like an alternate channel or whatever?
Yeah, I have 2 channels now.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I haven't. It's just in terms of my magic time, right? I used to watch every video you did just because like we're friends and I always wanted to stay on top of like the Merfolk playability and all this other stuff. I used to watch every video you did. I haven't seen one of your videos in a year. Probably.
Oh, wow. Like I got great stuff now. I got like I'm approaching 30,000 subscribers on my OG channel.
You're what?
I've almost 30,000 subscribers. Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, okay, I think you watch some of those videos, you're not going to miss another one of them.
Well, I think it was at 12 or 13 the last time I was actually paying attention. So no, good for you. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
But again, this is not a criticism of the quality of your videos. It's more like, okay, I need to figure out how to teach kids how to do long division for tomorrow. So like, that's what I'm going to do, you know?
Right.
So yeah, but I'll start checking some of those out. Absolutely.
And again, if I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck lists, we do this 9:00 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday to Friday. Be there or be square. If you want to support the channel, support the bank of Nikachu, and you aren't already, you can drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You can become a patron at patreon.com/NikachuMTG, or you can join on YouTube. It should be like right next to the subscribe button. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for showing up today, because without all of you, the show is useless. I mean, without these questions, I would have to get guests on every day, or I would be talking to myself. This would be totally pointless. And we gotta thank Day 2 Dryden for being here today. So thank Day 2 Dryden. Give a like out there for Day 2 Dryden. You want to see Day 2 Dryden to come back? Of course, Day 2 Dryden has the connections. You can just ask, and boom, he's on the show. And we're gonna bring music back. I'm gonna figure out how to get music while we have good music.
It's very much about who you know, not always what you know, right?
That's right.
No, it was really nice. Thanks for
good example.
I would have come on sooner, but again, school year and all that stuff. So it was nice to chat Magic, and I couldn't see the the comments section here. Oh, it's because I clicked on the wrong thing, right? Oh yeah, there it is. It was there the whole time. I'm a dummy.
I don't know what you can see, to be honest. I've never been a guest.
Oh, it's fair. Well, I had private chat, I guess, because I could talk to you, but then I'm like, oh, click on comments. Yep, there they all are. Oh, okay, so for anyone who thought I was ignoring their comments, I'm sorry I didn't click it till just now. But
I'm in charge of the comments here. I select them.
Yeah, no, fair.
You're the guest. You answer them.
It's just probably the smart way to organize it. I'd be too like ADHD and stuff. So yeah, all the kind words. I have seen the messages and the private messages and things like that. And John Nikachu has told me about when people are asking about me. So I really appreciate the love. It's not because I don't still love all the people and the interactions and the community and all that stuff. So I will. I would guess that I will be making stuff. Yeah, now. Good job, Richie Dobbs. Yeah, now that I see them, ignoring them is a choice. I shouldn't have said that. Now, so anyway, the love in the comments do make it out to me. So thank you so much for that. It means a lot, and I'll see what I can do about trying to get back into some kind of content creation, even if it's just I don't know,
like that. Turn you into a Twitch streamer.
Yeah, something like that, right? We'll see about that, but keep nagging me. That's the way to do it. Keep nagging Nikachu to nag me. It does go uphill. The comments do make it. So thank you for having me, Nikachu, and thank you to everyone else for the questions and taking part as well. I really appreciate it.
That's right. So as usual, Coffee Crew, keep brewing up that coffee, and we'll keep brewing up magic. We'll see you guys next